what you want to say, baby. When you're alone in the darkest night, maybe you can give your radio back. Open your heart and show your eyes that your destiny. And grow your love, baby. The future is waiting for you. And show your eyes that your destiny. What you want to say, baby, when you're alone in the darkest night, maybe you can give the radio back. Open your heart
the stream, everybody. Hi. I am Irene Geller, aka No Comment Chick, aka the bane of Twitch politics. NCC bad, and that's why you're here, because you like a bad girl. So what are we doing tonight? First of all, we're turning this music down. First and foremost. In fact, let me just like go ahead and switch over to let me switch over to Kevin MacLeod. Yeah, we got Bernie versus Cornell. This is a matchup that I don't relish. This is a matchup that I never really thought I was gonna see. But here we are, right? And did I turn that? I turned that too far down. Like, right, we gotta have some... I don't know. But it's like a complicated situation, and that's why I'm not just gonna bounce off of Bernie's take and Cornell's take. I'm gonna bounce off of the Vanguard's take a little bit too, right? Because they've got some interesting opinions on this. I don't completely agree. Just to spoil it for you, right? I'm not gonna completely agree with the Vanguard, but the Vanguard doesn't completely agree, like Zach and Gavin don't completely agree with each other, right? So it's kind of an interesting, nuanced night. We're gonna try to add some nuance to what's just become like this fight, right? And in some ways, it's reflective of fights that have gone on in the past, fights that you know, people would say Bernie's been on the other side of. Don't we want a third-party candidate to agitate against Biden? Don't we want, you know, maybe a primary challenge like Marianne Williamson? Bernie has endorsed Biden right from the get-go, and that's really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. However, there may be some reasons for that. And you know, it's thanks to the sharp analysis of the Vanguard that we're finding that out. Because I do appreciate, like I said, I don't always agree with them. I don't ever really agree with anybody like 100%. But yeah, there's some definite, oh my God, I don't know if how does the sound? You know what, I'm gonna go ahead and kill that white noise machine. Yeah, because that's gonna that might not be like messing up the audio for you, but I'm so much more sensitive, especially since I have to edit myself. Yeah, since I'm my own editor, I'm very sensitive about the kind of audio that I bring to the table, because it's hard to fix audio once it's gone bad. Anyway, so yeah, Bernie Sanders and Cornell West. This has become, you know, some words were exchanged, and we're gonna check that out. Also, I want to show you what's going on over here in Minecraft really quick. This may look like a normal Minecraft world to you, but it's not. Do you see those particles? Oh my God, it's gotta load in too. It's gotta load in. You see those particles? This is a biome that thinks it's in the Nether. Oh my God, do I want to risk it right off the biscuit? Oh my God, it's too laggy for me to make this jump, isn't it? There we go. I made it anyway. So anyway, yeah, this looks normal until you start to notice some things about it, right? And right off in the distance, that's the first thing. That's a Zoglin. Now, I won't say that Zoglins aren't supposed to be in the overworld, but it is not typical. And it is not good either. Those are hostile mobs. Those things want my red juices, so to speak, right? My vital juices. So I'm gonna start off, oh my God, yes, thank God. Yeah, IBX Toycat tried and failed this challenge on Bedrock. I am doing it on Java, which if you're a Minecraft nerd, you know is actually very different, right? This is not the way a single biome would show up on Bedrock, so I'm dealing with a completely different challenge. In some ways, it's harder, and in some ways, it's easier. But since IBX Toycat failed on his challenge, I'm gonna make. Oh, do you hear that meowing in the background? We might have a special guest in a second. She's definitely meowing like she wants to come on stream. Okay, so Wait, no. Dirt. Use dirt. Use dirt. Okay, so I'm just gonna get myself stable here in this world before we start off the show tonight, and it gives you a little preview of what I'm gonna be working on as well. All right, and then maybe torch. Boom. Torch. Okay, so that's stable for now. Let's get back to where we were. Talking about Cornell West and Bernie Sanders. Yeah. I mean, this is a new electoral reality that we're dealing with, and I'm gonna try to help you parse it as much as I can. Are those Hitler particles? I hope not. I hope not that early in the stream. That would be TOS for us to have those kind of particles. Maybe a boat. Wait, what is that? The Higgs and Bose? What is that one? The other particle? Why can't I remember it? You know, that particle that all the physicists are always talking about? I can't remember. Higgs boson. Did I say Higgs and Bose? I said Higgs and Bose. Higgs boson. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. We're not really talking about physics today, though. Don't worry. We are talking about Dr. Cornell West. We're going to get to the confrontation between Jessie Singal and the Majority Report. We're going to touch on that, and we're going to find out when and if that's going to happen, right? We thought it was going to happen yesterday. Turns out that Jessie Singal was nowhere to be found in the fun half, right? When he should have called in. Yeah, that's what you do. You know, you want to talk to Sam, you call in during the fun half. Jessie Singal did not do that. However, after much poking and prodding, he has given a response, and we're going to take a look at and see what that is, as well as what the Majority Report had to say about him, right? Because there's some words have been exchanged there as well. And as much as Sam is deferential and nice to people he doesn't know very well, like Jessie Singal, Higgs boson. Yeah, I said Higgs and Bose. I was thinking of the piglins somehow. I don't know. Minecraft crowds out the physics that gets in your head. Even when you haven't. Wait, no, I have taken physics, just not that kind of physics. I took the physics where you've got like force diagrams, and you've got planes, and you've got these things. What are these ones called? You know, they're like planes, but they're diagonal. Slopes. Yeah, you got slopes. You got planes. You got friction or lack of friction sometimes. You got physics, right? There's my special guest. How are you doing tonight? Oh, sorry. I made too much noise. Scared away the guest. Higgs and Bose. Yes, that's what we're talking about. So, yeah, we're going to talk about Majority Report and Jessie Singal, in addition to... What am I forgetting? Great news for unions, that's right. I feel like there's one other thing too that we're going to talk about. Maybe I'll remember that. There was one, yeah, we got some good news for unions for the first time in a long time. This is actually really good news. This is going to change the way that organization goes on in the United States. And some would hypothesize that this might be the effect of Bernie on Biden, right? This is such weird stuff, because like, right, you hear rumors and stuff of phone calls, Biden calling up Bernie and asking him advice. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know if there's any way to verify that, right? Obviously, they're doing it on the down low. They don't really want it verified, but yeah, Biden is not acting like a normal neoliberal president, which is not to say that he's a good president, which is not to say that no one should primary him. But so far, nobody worth voting for has stepped forward to do that. I gotta, you know, as much as I appreciate the Orb Mama, I don't think she's a serious candidate. I don't think she's ever been a serious candidate. You know, she has said some ridiculous stuff, and yeah, like woo stuff, like the idea of defeating HIV with the power of positive thinking. I mean, just ridiculous, unserious stuff. So also, you know, did we watch this? We watched maybe a little bit of her performance on on Bill Maher. And the fact that she's even going to go on Bill Maher in the first place, it kind of tells you something. It tells you that she's looking for votes in the wrong place. And I can't take her seriously. I do not see her as like somebody that to even consider the primary. And obviously RFK is like, RFK should be running in the Republican primary, but he's not. Actually, he would do well. I think he'd beat DeSantis. I think he'd be a strong number 2 if he was running as a Republican, but he's running as a Democrat. So anyway, let's get into this. Let's see what's up with our friends at the Vanguard, Zach and Gavin.
Mr. Sanders, Cornell West, who is a close ally of yours, he is running a third-party campaign for president. He recently criticized you for endorsing President Biden's reelection. Listen to what he said.
I love the brother, and
she was looking for votes in Bill Maher's basement. Yeah, all she found was roaches.
You even in love,
and no, not the insects.
People have deep disagreements about these things, but I think again he's fearful of the neo-fascism of Trump. People look at Biden; they don't really want to tell the full truth. So
I'm not the kind of person that's going to say that since Trump is in the periphery, Trump is the very likely Republican nominee, right? That you can't have a primary, that you got to support Biden. I don't think that primaries really hurt incumbent presidents as much as people think they are. Either your incumbent president has real problems, and has really lost the faith of the voting base, right? Or they're not really in danger of being hurt very much. And I think with Biden, as much as he does have problems, I don't think he's in danger from anybody. I'm not worried about people running in the Democratic Party and like somehow hurting his chances or whatever, right? I think the only thing that candidates to the left of him could do, which are the only candidates I'm really interested in, is encourage him to do a little bit better, right? But at the same time, I do worry about a third-party candidate in this situation.
Created the best economy.
And look, if there's a third-party candidate that I really believe in, that I think is going to be significantly better than the Democratic candidate, I mean, I will consider it, right? I really would encourage third parties to, try to build up their infrastructure around local elections, around local candidates. There's a lot of good that needs to be done there. Putting in more independents into the Senate and into the House of Representatives and into the, state houses and everything else, right? People that are, a little bit to the left of the Democrats is actually like a really good thing. But I'm not beyond, considering a third party, but God, you got to believe in the candidate that's running. And Cornell West has major questions. Oh my God, we got that. Do you see the shadow? You can see like a cat shadow in the background sometimes. Anyway, yeah, there's major issues with Cornell West that he just has not answered. Like, why did you get on board with Ron DeSantis? I've never heard him speak to that. If I'm wrong, if anybody knows that he's addressed this whole Ron DeSantis thing, that some of the weird things in his history have been addressed. And the fact that, like, look, I know he's on the Green Party now, all right? But he opened up his presidential run in the People's Party, which is sus AF, right? That's, like, for so many reasons, that's sus. And you got two options. Either he just didn't know, which, like, why are you running in that party if you don't know about it, right? Or, he was okay with it. So I don't know. Yeah, like, look, I would have thought that Cornell West would be a great candidate until I started to look a little bit more into him. When somebody runs for president, a lot more comes back about their history, and there's really some stuff that I didn't know about, and I cannot explain away. So yeah, here we go.
That we can get. Is this the best that we can get? You're going to tell that lie to the people just for Biden to win?
What's your reaction to that?
Well, my reaction is that certainly is not the best economy that we can create.
I don't think he said that, right? I feel like he's getting his words twisted.
That was what my speech was about yesterday. We've got to join the rest of the industrialized world, guarantee healthcare to all. We've got to cut the cost of prescription drugs in half. We've got to raise the minimum wage to at least $17 an hour. We've got to build the affordable housing we desperately need. But where I disagree with my good friend, Cornell West, is I think in these really very difficult times where there is a real question whether democracy is going to remain in the United States of America. You know, Donald Trump is not somebody who believes in democracy, whether women are going to be able to continue to control their own bodies.
Can we pause this really quick?
Social justice.
Because this is so, I mean, like, I'm a caught between a rock and a hard place. Part of me is like, oh, this is textbook Bernie. He's still the broken record. He's still going back to the same stump speech. Like, we need to go catch up with the rest of the industrialized world. We need to give everybody health insurance. We need to do all those things, right? But then he's just like, but where I disagree with my good friend Cornell West is on supporting anybody that actually wants to do those things, right? And he's talking.
I will admit that what Bernie said, I don't like the way that he said that, right? I mean, I don't, like I said before, I don't believe that you cannot run a primary challenge if Trump is on the other side of the ticket. I don't think that, like, I mean, Trump is, obviously a huge danger to democracy if he wins, like, basically. And we don't have democracy. We've never had democracy in the United States of America. It's always been kind of a theater, kind of just a political theater that mimics democracy in some ways and sometimes moves more towards democracy, right? I mean, we're not in a place where it's only land-owning white men that are allowed to vote, right? But this is a system that started off there that was never really designed to actually be, democratic, but rather to embody those Enlightenment ideals while still deferring to, rich white men. I mean, but you do have a little bit of a say, right, in whether you get a shit sandwich or a giant douche every 4 years. And sometimes, like, those are terrible items to find in a vending machine, right? But sometimes one is better than the other. Sometimes one is disastrous. And in the case where you've got one that's basically promised at this point to attack trans people, two candidates, probably more than two, but two candidates that have announced, like, intentions to go after trans people. And also to go after just the peaceful transfer of power, that one little bit of volition that people, have in this country. They don't get to decide on who they vote for, but they do get to decide between two people. And the person that gets the most electoral votes, so not always the person with the most popular votes, it's supposed to, is supposed to come into power. And there is at least a correlation between popular vote and electoral vote. So even that would be, taken away under a Trump presidency. A second Trump presidency promises an America that is worse than anyone can imagine, right? Just like last time, people were like, what's the worst that can, let's try something different. Give him a chance, right? You haven't been a citizen of this country under a Trump presidency yet. What's the worst that could happen? Could it be worse than Hillary? Give it a chance, right? And it's like, yeah, no, it can be worse than Hillary. It can be worse than Hillary, right? It's sad but true.
About now, he's in difficult times. Like, I just wish somebody would ask Bernie if he thought that we were in simple times when he decided to run for president against Hillary Clinton.
West is running for the Green Party. That is true. And I thought I said that earlier. But he did start out his presidential campaign under the auspices of running as a People's Party candidate. He switched, right? When everybody that knew him was like, Cornell, don't do it. Switch over to the Green Party. Switch over, anything but the People's Party, right? Because people know about this. And that's what makes me wonder, is Cornell West somebody that's comfortable operating under such low information that he didn't know what the People's Party was about, which is concerning and I would say kind of disqualifying. Or did he know? And there's just so much pressure that he had to change his tack.
Everybody said these are difficult times. We are facing the very real, threat of neo-fascism. And of course, it's a little bit different because Cornell West is running outside of the Democratic Party. And
you are facing the very real threat of the middle of the hour ad break. I don't know, top of the hour ad break. I don't know what exactly it's on, right? It should be on the 30s and the 00s, but that might happen to you on Twitch. If you don't want it to happen, you can get out of it with Amazon Prime. If you have it, you can hook that up to Twitch. Get yourself a free subprime. Get yourself a free subprime loan. That sounds completely innocuous. No, get yourself a free Prime sub and get out of the ad break for free. You can pay $5 to go. Oh, yeah. Damn. I mean, 10 out of the 10, except I'm late. There it is. It's on the 35s and the 05s. Okay, now we know. Yeah, and the other thing that I didn't get to mention is that, and nobody that needs to hear this is hearing this now because of the ad break. Obviously, you might be given a gift sub. I think I'll say that again after the ad break.
We're still in the primary season, and he's already thrown his weight behind Joe Biden, which would be akin to throwing your weight behind Hillary Clinton and not his campaign. And it's like, dude, have you not?
Is it equivalent? I don't think it is exactly equivalent. Hillary Clinton was an unprecedentedly bad candidate, and B, willing to compromise on a level that I don't think we can imagine, right? A Hillary Clinton presidency would have been bad for a lot of reasons, right? I see Biden doing things that I would not imagine that Hillary Clinton would do, right? He's not great. And in fact, he's messed so much up, right? Like if I was his advisor, I'd be tearing my hair out, but not as much as I'd be tearing my hair out if I was Hillary's advisor. Can you imagine that, sitting in the room with Mark Penn and all the? I don't even know if Mark Penn's a Democrat anymore.
Taking a look,
Mark Penn's no labels, right?
Around things that might be even worse than when you ran the first.
Okay, so if you just got taken out, you just experienced the ad break. That's what it is. That's what can happen. That's why you need to get a sub, whether that's a Amazon Prime sub, whether that's paying for a sub from Twitch yourself, $5 on desktop, $6 on mobile, or whether you're lucky enough and somebody's generous enough to get you a gift sub, which might also happen, more likely to happen if you're active in chat. All the more reason to be active in chat.
First time,
and YouTube, don't think I'm letting you off either. You need to hit that like button.
If now isn't the time, what made it the time then when you lost twice? When you decided to do it, it was the time. But now that you're burnt out and you don't think you can get over the hump anymore, now it's not the time for anybody to do it. That's such bullshit. This is one of the few times where it seems like, I don't know, I don't know. This is he's really just left the entire movement behind, right? There's no effort other than to Look,
I'm frustrated too, okay? I would like to see a primary challenge to Biden. I get it if Bernie doesn't want to be that person or can't be that person. I mean, he is older even than Biden, right? So, it sort of makes sense that he might not be able to run a campaign. But yeah, I mean, I don't love the fact that Bernie endorsed Biden just right in the beginning.
Quickly say things like, "Oh, I support Medicare for all."
But if I know Bernie, he's talked to anybody who might run as a primary candidate and determined that there's nobody in that group that he would support. He did this before in 2016, right? He wasn't planning on running. He thought that Elizabeth Warren would be the obvious person to challenge Hillary Clinton for the nomination. Elizabeth Warren had wanted none of that, right? She wanted to stay in the good graces of the party, and challenging somebody with the kind of institutional power, connected to the kind of machine politics as Hillary Clinton is really bad for that, right?
how is he putting his money where his mouth is at all here?
Let's just play the devil's advocate, because I understand people's frustration, and I also feel pretty frustrated about the way that Bernie has conducted himself and basically totally failed to continue leading the political revolution that he started after dropping out in 2020. And I think that all of those are very valid complaints, which lead people to take Bernie's comments here in a way that is really frustrating to them, that really gets under their skin. But again, just to play the devil's advocate here for Bernie Sanders, I don't think this is terribly inconsistent with anything that Bernie Sanders has said or any conclusions that he's arrived at in basically the 21st century. I'm sure you can find clips of Bernie Sanders back in the 80s or 90s where he maybe had a different opinion on this stuff. But I don't think finding a clip from 25 years ago is really the hypocrisy burn that people think it is. It's really, people's opinions evolve over time. Their understanding of strategy evolves.
But for Bernie Sanders 25 years ago, he was already 55.
That's fair. I'm just saying that Bernie Sanders has been pretty.
I mean, I think that they're also underselling the sort of different environment that exists now. Yeah, look, was there signs that Donald Trump would be an absolute disaster in 2016? Absolutely, right? Absolutely. But those were all speculative. Or anyway, the idea of how bad he would be, it was speculative, and it ended up veering towards the anybody that was an alarmist about Trump was proven right. So after 4 years of Trump, and after an attempt to just ignore the peaceful transition of power to the person that beat him in the election, you sort of see that the danger is greater than you thought it was. You also see the kind of power and resilience his base is able to give him in the face of really obvious crimes, really blatant crimes, stuff that would disqualify anyone else. And we're not just talking about quotes or gaffes or incidents of the mask slipping. I mean, you're talking about
consistent in modern times, like in the 21st century. The fact of the matter is that after he lost
Elizabeth Warren
to Hillary Clinton, he did not endorse Jill Stein. He has no history in recent times of endorsing third-party candidates or Green Party candidates. And you can disagree with that as much as you want. I disagree with that. I wish Bernie had, gotten on the Green Party ticket in 2016 and all that. But the fact that people are still mad at him.
I mean, the Green Party ticket, I don't know. There was things that were concerning about Jill Stein too.
10 years later,
believe me, I want to see a third party come into prominence, basically for one very important reason. The Republican Party is destined demographically to become a third party. But the only way that happens is if a third party arises, gets prominent, and displaces the Republican Party as the number 2 contender, right? So yeah, a party, and that could be a party to the left, or that could be a party to the right. And I'd much rather see it be a battle between Democrats who are conservative enough, right, as it is, and some kind of democratic socialist party. I feel like that more suits the evolving politics of the younger generations, right? Who are going to be around when the boomers are gone. So yeah, basically a third party needs to arise, but for so many reasons, it seems better to build that infrastructure on the back of local politics, of statewide politics, of capturing congressional seats, capturing Senate seats, right? Capturing state legislatures, and especially on the local, right? Local politics are hugely important, have an enormous impact, and they're one place where money doesn't have to talk as much as it does on the national stage, right? Because as much as there's big money out there, it can't really, it has a harder time applying itself to local races unless it's just an errant Shama Sawant, let's just say, who they want to get off the, it's in Seattle, right? I always forget if she's in Seattle or Port, I think Seattle, yeah. The Seattle City Council, right? So, if there's a plethora of leftist candidates or left, even just, democratic socialist candidates running, then those, the forces that oppose those candidates are going to have a harder time. They're going to have to spread their money around more. So yeah, I would love to see a third party come up. It's just that, like, I mean, Cornell West is not giving me a lot of encouragement, right? And he's somebody that I really liked in the past, somebody that I every time I've ever heard him talk, he says great things, right? But then there's other things that he just cannot explain. I don't understand the DeSantis thing, right? That's like unbelievable to me. Like if Bernie was had endorsed Scott Walker, I mean, that's along the level of what we're talking about here.
Still having an opinion that he's had and still having the same
Oh, there are 9 other candidates running for the Green Party presidential nomination too.
strategic take that he's always had. Well, not always had, but always had since we've known the guy, since we've been invested in what he stands for and his movement. This has been his stance. So just assuming that he's going to change his mind this time around, I don't think
hit that like button
is really fair to him. And the other reason I don't think it's really fair to him is because the analysis that he just gave of the situation, which,
so I mean, look, understand this is a little bit of a devil's advocate from Gavin. But I honestly think that Gavin is like, it's not just like Gavin offering a viewpoint that he doesn't agree with. It's Gavin offering a viewpoint that he kind of agrees with.
which is that, yeah, I think that it's important to keep Donald Trump out of the White House. And as much as I think Joe Biden is inadequate, he's still far preferable.
Oh, that's the other thing I want to cover. Thank you for reminding me, Jeffrey Herrera. We need to talk about, at some point, the No Labels Party.
That was Cornell West's opinion in 2020. He was telling people the exact same thing.
Okay, but can I provide a little bit of pushback? Because I think that the crux of our disagreement rests on not the fact that in a general election, Bernie Sanders would decide to support somebody like Joe Biden or Hillary Clinton, which he did in both instances. But I think what has changed and what is the clear marked transition away, this is the first time since he came out onto the map and exploded in political popularity and started, talking about a political revolution and big change within the Democratic Party primary, that he just bent over and without a fight at all during any primary season, did he roll over and just get out in front of it. And not only did he, not him.
Thank you for that mental image that I really needed of Bernie Sanders bending over.
That not only did he not endorse any of the other potential challengers, right, but he also endorsed preemptively the major corporatists. So that is different. Right. That is what's different. He put up no fight during the primary, which is kind of his trademark. Right. Was that like, yes, we knew he was going to, probably support whoever bested him during the primary. Right. But I would say that it would probably be more consistent for Bernie Sanders to put up a challenge during the primary than it would be to say for him to not put up a challenge.
So I'm somewhat sympathetic to what Zach is saying here. If you look at 2012, right, a lot of people talk about that election. That was the Obama re-election against Mitt Romney. Bernie considered opposing Obama, and somebody, I guess, talked him out of it, right? Maybe Obama talked him out of it, but he didn't end up doing it. But that this is like that would have been an incredibly unpopular move. But I mean, I think it needed to be done. It actually broke my heart that there wasn't any real meaningful opposition to Barack Obama after the kind of campaign that he ran. The base that elected him, including like a lot of first-time voters, right? And the way he actually governed, the timid, deferential way that he governed that got even worse, right? Where he was constantly trying to, sell out Social Security. Yeah, that guy needed a primary.
During the primary, because he even considered doing so in 2012 against Obama.
Yeah. No, like I said, I think that's fair. And I think if you include all of that context about how he's failed to continue leading the political revolution that he started, I think that's fair. And that these comments are just another, it's just another example of him failing to be the leader that we wish that he continued to be post his campaign. And I think there's a variety of reasons for that, including the fact that he's getting pretty old. His career is coming to an end. We can make excuses all day. We could go into the context and maybe explain why Bernie doesn't have the same fire in him that he did in 2016. But ultimately, I just didn't find these comments to be shocking or controversial, like at all. This is exactly what I knew Bernie Sanders was going to say. I think it was more scandalous. If you want to be scandalized by anything, I thought it was more scandalous that Bernie Sanders basically just ignored the primary challenges of people like Marianne Williamson and just immediately jumped to endorsing Joe Biden. And the reason I thought that was crazy is because, like you said, Zach, Bernie's
again, please sell me on Marianne Williamson, right? And look, I mean, this is one area where I definitely disagree with the Vanguard. They watched the same Bill Maher interview of Marianne Williams that I watched and came to a very different conclusion. I saw her throw trans people off under the bus, right off in that conversation. There was a little bit of pushback. I mean, Bill, it's hard not to push back against a smug guy like Bill Maher, but she was way too polite. Also, why are you going on his show? Right? Please, if you want to sell me on a candidate, sell me on a candidate that Bill Maher refuses to talk to, right? Well, then again, he's talked to Bernie on Real Time, but sell me on a candidate that wouldn't fuck with Bill Maher the way that Marianne Williams seemed to be just going for let me see how much of this audience I can grab, and it's really, those are the voters that you want to court? Okay.
Clearly does think it's a worthy project to try to reform the Democratic Party from within and to try to do that via an insurgent progressive campaign. I mean, that's why he was on board with, candidates like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And I don't see why he couldn't apply that same logic to a presidential primary coming from a leftist like Marianne Williamson. I don't see why he couldn't be supportive of that sort of an insurgent challenge in the same way he was on a congressional level, or as he's been for several candidates on a variety of different elected levels, right? But he's never been a third party guy, at least in the 21st century. You'd have to go back to the fucking 1990s to find an example of him talking about that. And I you can disagree with that all you want. You can say that, I think the third party route is the correct route. Clearly I, to some extent, believe that. That's why I advocate for third parties. That's why I support Cornell West. That's why I've only ever voted for third party candidates. But clearly Bernie just doesn't view that is a good strategy.
But then wouldn't his position be that he's upset with Cornell West because he thinks that he should be running within the Democratic Party, right? And that should be his disagreement with him. Not that it's just so appalling to even dare check.
Again, sell me on Cornell West. Please explain that DeSantis shit to me. Please explain what happened, right? Because I got two options for you. Either one, this guy is unserious and he does not pay attention at all. And it was Ron DeSantis seems like a good guy. Look, you can even tell me, right, make the argument, if you want to make the argument to me that maybe when Cornell endorsed Ron DeSantis and his educational initiatives, maybe he showed less signs of being dictator DeSantis than he does right now. But even granting that, that's a Republican governor in Florida. What are you doing, Dr. West? What are you doing? Right? Because to me, it looks like clout chasing. To me, it just looks like, let me sign on to something to make me relevant again. I don't know. It's just I don't get it, right? Either that or just you didn't. I mean, I don't even think I can make the excuse of ignorance. Cornel West is not an ignorant man. Okay. I mean, this is what really, concerns me. There's just a lot of really bad choices by Dr. West.
Challenge Joe Biden in the face of whatever monstrosity the Republican Party can hawk up.
And it feels to me like some people, they just want a chess piece to move against Biden. And you know what that tells me? That tells me that you're not looking to displace Biden, right? You want anyone, to stand up and say, I could be president too, but not really be serious about it. Because like if you believed, if it was a serious like challenge to Joe Biden's candidacy, a serious challenge for the nomination, which it kind of needs to be at least at some point, then you wouldn't be endorsing people like Marianne Williams. You wouldn't be hoping for somebody like Cornell West, right? You'd be hoping for a candidate that maybe it's not Bernie, right? I mean, obviously it's not Bernie. He's probably doesn't want to run. He's too old, right? But it doesn't have to be somebody of like Bernie's caliber, because I mean, I guess there's only one of him, right? But it's got to be somebody a little bit better than what we're getting from the likes of Marianne Williams and Cornell West, and especially Robert F. Kennedy, Q. Shaman Jr.
Because that's literally him parroting the exact words that people used against him. Right, like that when he goes and he says like, "Oh, I had to endorse Joe Biden because there was too big of a..."
Yeah, good point, Jeffrey. Yeah, like Ron DeSantis was a what is it called? Judicial Advocate General? Is that what JAG stands for? He was like an army attorney at Guantanamo, right?
A threat, and this is
his hands are
what the president or this is what the country needs, and this is who we can all unify behind. Right, even though it's it's not even a half measure, it's not even a quarter measure, it's just a fraction of what we need to accomplish.
A human rights lawyer, right?
And yes, you can point to the NLRB, and we'll get to one of their recent W's about how if there's foul play, then the company is forced to automatically.
Yeah, we'll be getting to that too. That's definitely a story that I want to cover.
Recognize the union, and you can point to some small victories for a Joe Biden, administration. Gavin and I have never, ever, ever said that you can't point to small victories, but it's a matter of is that enough? And Bernie Sanders' calculations have always been no, that's not enough. And during the primary time is when you reach the American people and you tell them, no, we demand more. Let's hit the streets. Let's get voters that have never voted. Let's register, more Latinos than we've ever registered before in the, state of Texas for the Democratic Party or whatever kind of records that they were, going after at that time. Right. And it just feels like this is a marked change. And I'm not surprised by it either. Right. Bernie's let us down.
Well, look, I feel a marked change, too, with the electorate, with the willingness to support an insurgent candidate like Bernie. Right. You talk about Bernie's leadership. Leadership does not pull support out of thin air. Right. Bernie had support due to some of the things that Americans experienced during the financial crisis. Right. Like Occupy, right? There's a lot of things that led to the Bernie Sanders candidacy. And, like, I don't know who you blame there, the voters, I guess, for not kind of sticking to that.
Shown us the kind of guy he is. But I think what is really like, the bummer here for me, and what I am like kind of like putting my fucking head in my palm, is it's like
how many of the people that were excited about BreadTube, right? How many of those people have fallen back into just being like, I am a progressive Democrat. I am a progressive, I'm on the, like, right? It's just like, it sucks.
Like he starts off like the same old Bernie, like the broken record, hitting the points that he does. But then he finishes like a finger wagger, and like the kind of guy that would have like told you that he really agrees with Bernie, but we just can't have him in the primary, no less. And I think that Bernie's like kind of become what he detested, right? Like what's to stop him from like, that's kind of like what Andrew Yang always would say. Oh, I believe in the spirit of Medicare for all, but it's just not the right time for that kind of shit. Like I always hated that about him. And now to hear Bernie kind of echo that sentiment, it's like frustrating, because obviously I know Bernie's heart's in the right place. I don't doubt that he's making these kinds of calls because he genuinely believes it's like, his duty or like the best interest of the people. I just think that he's fucking misguided, and that bums me out because I expected more from him.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's finish out this clip real quick, and then we have a couple other pieces of the story to react.
The counter argument to this is that Bernie has influence that he's never in his life before had. And there is some sign of this, but again, this does rub me the wrong way, right? You are talking about the reform from within strategy, and that is indeed never something that Bernie's really been about.
Too.
This in America, we end bigotry. Around that, I think we have got to bring the entire progressive community to defeat Trump or whoever the Republican nominee will be. Support Biden, but at the same time, which is what I did yesterday, is demand that the Democratic Party, not just Biden, have the guts to take on corporate greed and the massive levels of income and wealth inequality that we see today.
Sanders,
And I guess that the only other thing I would say, just a slight defense of Bernie here. Some people, including to some extent Cornell West, are acting like Bernie Sanders.
Oh, Mitch McConnell had another freeze. You're right. Yeah.
He's just out here doing straight propaganda for Biden, acting like the economy's perfect. And, Biden saved the day. He's a totally progressive president. I listen to Bernie Sanders interviews quite often whenever he speaks to the media and talks about
Biden's better than expected. He's better than what I'd expect from a Hillary Clinton presidency. I feel like, he's been stronger, or like not stronger, but not as weak as as Obama was during his presidency. But again, it's still not great.
The Biden administration, he's constantly critical of the Biden administration, of Bidenomics, of the Democratic Party's failure to return to the policies that would appeal to middle America, to labor, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't think it's fair to say that Bernie is like just out here doing propaganda for Joe Biden, acting like he's some amazing president and never criticizing him. I think that Bernie Sanders is begrudging.
You know what? When I think about Mitch McConnell and I think about what happened, right? A lot of people are, talking about his age. He's apparently 81, right? But what I imagine is like, what if Mitch McConnell didn't sub, right? And he's getting an ad. And that's what happens. It just takes him out of it, right? He's going right along, being his loathsome self, right? And all of a sudden he gets an ad, right? And he could have prevented that ad for free with a Twitch Prime sub. He would have also let me know that, he really liked my stream and appreciated my stream by the fact that not only is he putting money in my pocket and making the stream possible, he's taking it out of Jeff Bezos's pocket. But of course, you can't expect Mitch McConnell to fight capitalism like that, right? You can't. You might be able to expect him to. He's probably got a lot of money, so he could probably afford to pay for a sub for himself for the low cost of $5 on desktop or $6 on mobile. Or if he's hard up on cash at the moment, right, he could possibly get a gift sub just by being active in my chat. But of course, you can't expect Mitch McConnell to do that. So yeah, he froze up. That was his choice. What's yours?
Endorsing Joe Biden because he genuinely doesn't think that anyone else is viable. And, in the process, he's trying to point out ways that the Democrats could do even better at appealing to working class people, poor people in middle America. So that's kind of what I see. And again, it's not even a strategy that I agree with. I'm not sitting here saying that I agree with Bernie Sanders. I mean, you guys know all the time, I'm constantly out here advocating for voting Green Party, especially if you live in a safe state. I think it's ridiculous to vote for Joe Biden. If you live in fucking Alabama or in a state like California where it doesn't matter who you vote for, then of course you should.
See, I would agree with this. Yeah, absolutely.
Vote for Green Party. Let's get them to 5%.
And look, if you want to, build the party, right? And yeah, there is the Green Party, it doesn't have the consistency that I'd like, but like I said, I'd like to see some third party get built up, right? And reaching those thresholds, like 5% on the ballot, it's gonna potentially do that, even if it's just in a safe state, right? And yeah, the election is decided in certain states and not others. Now, look, there are a lot of purple states. There are a lot of states that are more purple than people realize, like Colorado is not a 100% sure. New Mexico is not 100% sure. Nevada is not 100% sure. So, that's not what I mean when I say a safe state. But yeah, if you're in California, there is 0% chance that Trump is winning that state. And so, yeah, I think Kevin's right that in a way, voting for Biden in a state like that, you are throwing your vote away.
Them federal funding 100%. But the fact of the matter is that Bernie Sanders does have a strategic disagreement with me. I don't think he was
jumps over the primary process entirely, right? Like that's what I'm talking about. That's what's really that's the thorn in my side, is that he pretends like there is, like he buys into their narrative that there is no primary this time and that Joe Biden is entitled to it, and that's maddening to me, right? And that The only
Look,
thing,
I mean, I'm with you there, right? I would love to see a primary challenge from him. I just haven't seen. I don't want to support Marianne Williams. I don't have any faith in Marianne Williams. Obviously, RFK Jr. Should get himself into the Republican primary and run as the QAnon candidate, which he is, right? Yeah, like I just don't see anybody to support. Yeah, I mean, like Bernie, or somebody, even God, Liz Warren. Liz Warren would never do it. I got no faith in Elizabeth Warren either. I also think she's kind of a poor candidate as far as just her ability to run an election.
that you could possibly do besides vote for Joe Biden is
But yeah, I mean, this is a problem. This is a serious problem, is that there's nobody like Bernie to take his place. Like the the left side of the Democratic Party doesn't have a very deep bench at this point
to support a third party. He doesn't have a track record of supporting third parties, so I don't expect him to. Well, I would like it. I would agree with that, but that's not what like the threshold, the bar that I would hold him to. What I would hold him to is that he would support an effort to challenge Joe Biden from the left during the Democratic Party primary, which he has a history of doing.
Right.
And now that we don't see that from him, I think that is a change, right? For him to buy into their framework and say that why would we risk giving it to Donald Trump by only challenging within the Democratic Party? No, democracy within the Democratic Party makes it stronger, right? Having a real competition to see who should be the president makes the party stronger. It's only
I agree.
very recently that there's ever been this idea that like, we're just not going to have a primary because somehow practicing democracy weakens our party and we should all stand behind this, beloved leader, unified leader. Like, that's scary. That's bullshit. That's anti-democratic. And obviously, I don't think that Bernie is intent.
Also, in general, when you are making political considerations based on fear rather than hope, you're generally leading yourself in a wrong direction. I mean, look at Biden and how he handled the debt crisis, right? There's every indication that he didn't have to give anything to the Republicans, and yet he gave away he gave away SNAP, right? He gave away student debt relief in terms of deferring the paying back of student loans, right? That hurt a lot of people, and he did that out of fear of what could happen.
Intentionally feeding into that, but he's 100% signing off on that narrative that the Democratic Party
vote for RFK Sr.
gets to control whether or not there is a primary, whether or not Joe Biden will face a challenger. And if they can do that this time, when can't they do that? And when Bernie Sanders is gone, there's not going to be the legacy of standing up to that he could have brought, because we all know nobody has more clout than this man within the progressive party, we don't have one, but progressive movement, whatever's left of it, So that's what fucking fries me about this.
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally agree. Like I said, I wish that Bernie Sanders had not endorsed Joe Biden immediately. I wish that he had, waited and been more supportive of Marianne Williamson, for example. I totally agree. I think that's totally unacceptable. I just think it's kind of funny how people think it's crazy.
Welcome back from the ad break.
That, Bernie Sanders is still not supporting the Green Party when we all know that's the case. We all knew that would be the case, and it's always been the case. So I do think it's a little bit unfair.
He saw a chance to save money. Well, we save money as in like deficits without losing face.
For people to jump down his
There's
throat.
some sign that Biden is on the MMT train, but I don't know
about it. But I agree, Zach. I mean, I also wish we would see him calling out the DNC more, advocating for there to actually be a serious primary, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, get a serious candidate, okay? Get a serious candidate and we'll have a serious primary. I don't feel like we have. I feel like the people that want to see, one of the candidates that's running, challenge Biden, they're just using them as chess pieces. They're not serious about it. If you're going to choose somebody to primary Biden, choose somebody that you would actually want as president, and you'd actually have faith in them being able to run against DeSantis, run against Trump, run against Ramaswamy, whoever's they're up against, right? But be able to, take on that challenge and be able to govern, not somebody that you have to worry about. Like, is he going to make a deal with DeSantis? Is he gonna, right? Because Cornell West has really given me some pause.
I do totally agree with you, Zach. I just kind of wanted to,
No, I see
give
where
OG1 Goblin, thank you for the follow.
And it made for a good discussion.
Welcome to the stream.
But yeah, at that time I was like, no, I'm taking the hammer to Bernie Sanders because it just drives my shit. Because I'm like, no, you don't have to. You could say like all I wanted from him from that fucking interview, all he had to do, and is to say, look, like I disagree with Cornell West's strategy to run as a third-party candidate. However, he has every single right to. My efforts will be spent within the Democratic Party primary, trying to push Joe Biden to the left and hoping to see a challenger succeed. Like if he'd said that, I think that would have been completely consistent with his fucking analysis in 2020 and 2016 when he was the one that wanted to challenge the establishment, right? And even in 2020 when he hadn't quite made up the gumption to do it because Obama was so fucking beloved. Think about how beloved Obama was.
Wait, were you talking about 2012? Yeah.
And he was thinking about doing it. And now you look at how unbeloved and how just like mid everybody, even if you poll
anyway, let's take a look at this Mitch McConnell thing.
Of them have like positive feelings about Joe Biden. I mean, it's really abysmal. So anyway, that's why I just took the devil's advocate.
What are my thoughts about what?
Running for re-election in 2026.
That's
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026?
Did he say yes? Yeah. I mean, yeah, you got a lot of, and this, like, more than anything, right? This isn't just about Mitch McConnell. This is about the way that seniority works in the party system, right? You could look at Dianne Feinstein. On some level, you could look at Joe Biden, although, I feel like the concerns about Biden's cognitive status are a little over exaggerated. With Mitch McConnell, with Dianne Feinstein, though, you're seeing like clear signs of like this is a person that should not, like that. I don't know, why are they there, right? Seniority, holding a seat, political considerations. With Dianne Feinstein, it's like, people are wondering if the people that are around her are kind of like, see her as a ticket to political power, and they're, not telling her what she should be hearing. He needs a piece of lettuce. Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, that could work. That could work. But yeah, there is a system in the political, and this is what allowed Hillary Clinton. I gotta always go back to what a terrible candidate Hillary Clinton was to run in 2016, to be seen as inevitable. She was actually seen as inevitable in 2008, and the only thing that changed that was that the once in a lifetime charisma and speech making ability of one Barack Obama. Other than that, she would have absolutely been the standard bearer for the Democrats that year. And she's just a terrible politician. And that shows you, right? These considerations, they're not about what's good for the party. They're definitely not about what's good for the working class or, people in the country, right? They are absolutely just, who's got the clout? Who's got the clout? And also, who are the donors standing behind? Like, who do the donors feel confident, right? Because like I always say, there's not one election, or there's not one primary, right? There's not just like one primary. There's the primary that we know of as the primary, but before that, there's a money primary. And the people that get on the stage for those primary debates are generally the people who have passed the money primary, the donor primary, right? And so, I mean, you're seeing the effect of that.
All right, I'm sorry, you all. We're going to need a minute. Senator Benny.
See, I can't be too, like, I don't know. Like he is a horrible man, right? But I can't be too happy about like seeing him in the state.
okay.
Somebody else have a question? Please speak up.
Wait, did he continue to take questions after that? Did they get him unfrozen successfully? Well, there it is. Mitch McConnell. Okay, so on to the good news for unions.
Labor Relations Board found that, yes, that was the case. And they passed a threshold because these violations were so blatant. They passed a threshold in which the National Labor Relations Board would set aside the election and call for a new one. Now, you remember this happened with one of the Amazon, not the first one, but one
He's practically AI at this
of
point.
the Amazon, the one in Alabama. Was that what it was?
Bessemer?
In Bessemer, yes. Bessemer.
Yeah, good point, Rebel Communique. He's
There was 2 elections, and because they
there's some physical limits as far as Mitch McConnell holding on to power.
found that after the first
I'm sure that whoever replaces him is going to be just as bad.
election, the National Labor Relations Board found that that Amazon was engaged in practices that were union busting. I can't remember exactly what they were, but they were probably forced meetings. There was other things. And they called for a second election, and that election was lost. Under this new CEMEX decision, CEMEX doctrine, what would have happened is they would immediately, as soon as they, as soon as those union busting things were done, the union would have submitted to National Labor Relations Board, and the board would say, "There's no election. There's a union now.
Yeah.
That you are now penalized." So it gives a little more room for the employer to sort of like challenge the idea of a union, but it maintains a very, very specific behavioral requirements of the employer, or you just end up going into full-on union. You got to go bargain. So you don't have to, and it lowered the threshold again to issue a bargaining order rather than rerun the election if it finds employer committed unfair labor practices. Promptly, again, 2 weeks with the union's demand for recognition. And the board stated it will rely on current factors it uses to determine whether an election should be set aside due to unfair labor practices committed by an employer, including 1, the number and severity of unfair labor practices, and 2, the proximity of those unfair labor practices to the timing of the election. And also the size of the bargaining unit and the margin of the vote, which theoretically would not take place in this instance unless, they're reviewing after the fact, and the number of employees the misconduct reach. So they're using more or less the same standards they have now in which they would reissue a vote. But instead, if that's triggered, you just get the union.
Okay, so does that make sense?
Should an employer refuse to recognize and bargain with the union once they get the...
So in up until recently, the way that unionization worked was this: like you'd sign cards. When a certain number of cards were signed, it would trigger an election, or it would. But the company could put off the election, and that's an election. Do you want a union or not? Right? The company, there was no timetable. The company could bring in union busters. This has been done in so many places, right? And essentially just brainwash the employees out of wanting a union. Like they could do all kinds of dirty tricks to avoid, unionization. And now what happens is those things are triggers for not just the election. If any of those dirty tricks happen, if any of that malfeasance goes on, they have 2 weeks, right, to run an election, right? So no time to interfere. And if they try any of that stuff, right, boom, union, right then. You try dirty tricks to bust a union, you got a union. It's there, and not only is it there, but you got to negotiate with them.
These cards, and also fail to timely file the petition. That's 2 weeks. A union can file an unfair labor practice for refusing to bargain with the union, and that begins an issuance of a bargaining order.
Yep. So essentially, and I'm just trying to understand fully myself here. If in the period after the election is called for, the employer engages in union busting tactics, essentially card check is triggered.
Yeah, and card check is what the Democrats used to fight for, right? That was what I think even Obama said that he wanted to institute. Obviously, he didn't. Obviously, he stabbed the unions in the back in so many different ways, right? But this used to be like a mainstream issue because, even on a level of electoral considerations, unions were some of the biggest backers of the Democratic Party. So there was a kind of symbiosis between the Democratic Party and the unions. Now, like at the same time, understand that a dynamic that's going on that sort of came in under Reagan and has gotten worse ever since is the issue of money in politics, right? So you got two things going on. You've got a traditional symbiosis between the Democratic Party and labor, a traditional understanding that the Democratic Party is going to stand up for and support labor, right? And then you've got, like what I said before, the second primary. It's not just true in the presidency, this is true everywhere, right? Do you have the donors' approval? And the Democrats' desire for that approval of the people financing their campaigns, it ended up outstripping the Democrats. Absolutely, threw unions under the bus, and it was looking like they were down from the count. So I mean, this is encouraging. This is something about the Biden administration that's encouraging. Is it the hand of Bernie Sanders guiding Joe Biden? Wouldn't that be awesome? Can you imagine though? Can you imagine like Bernie's like, yeah, we're going to pass this new National Labor Relations Board standard, and then we can get ice cream afterwards. Do you like that, Joe? Do you want some ice cream? And she's like, I like ice cream. Let's get some of that ice cream, Bernie, and let's support you. Yeah, I don't know. This is just in my imagination. I don't know if this is really going on or not, right? But I mean, this is good, and this is kind of this is rolling back like a lot of damage that was done to the labor movement in a kind of an unprecedented way. Like, I don't know how long ago, how long it's been since there was a policy like this in place, right?
Yes. And exactly. If between the time that the cards are delivered and the employer says we're not going to voluntarily recognize, they have 2 weeks to file a petition with the National Labor Relations Board for some form of, presumably an election.
Yeah.
Within that period from when the cards are delivered to the election, if there are unfair labor practices, like we've seen time and time again,
yep,
practiced by the employer, the election takes place. Or even, I guess, you could file beforehand. Maybe that's a question for Harold Meyerson. And if they find that, then boom, that's it. There is a union and a bargaining order.
Yep. And that's just a stick for these employees. Like, this is really a step forward, given what the dynamic that we've described. Like with Starbucks, for example, they have unlimited resources to get tied up in litigation surrounding their unfair labor practices, or in terms of like their, union busting, right? That's not going to solve the problem. The problem will be solved if there's an easier path to unionization that precludes them from engaging in the practices and then cleaning it up with money later.
Yeah, there's just sort of like a it really makes it hard to union bust in the way that they've been doing it up to this point. They find a novel way of doing it. There was also a revival of an Obama era national labor relation regulation that speeds up the election process. So this isn't card check, but I think it's okay to call it card check light. It is pretty good. So this is good stuff. And again, this came out of a Cemex case. The Teamsters 2019 vote, narrowly defeated. And and an administrative judge found in 2021 that Cemex had committed more than 24 unfair labor practices. The judge recommended setting aside the election results. What would happen now is the board would immediately say, we're going to issue a bargaining order. You've got a union because you crossed that threshold.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could address those unfair labor practices prior to the election. I'm not sure about that. We got to ask Harold Meyerson about that. But this is a big deal. And they did it just under the wire because the National Labor Relations Board is going to lose essentially its quorum to be able to make big policy changes. My understanding, and again, I'll ask of Harold Meyerson, is that they're still going to be able to rule on stuff. And there'll still be a majority of Biden appointees versus Trump appointees. But they will be under the threshold they need to make major policy rules changes.
Okay.
We will check on that as well. So I got a lot of questions for Harold Meyer.
Just like we're under the threshold that we need to be at to make this stream go for more than 2 hours. So yeah, we're gonna have to say goodbye pretty shortly. If there is an ad break coming up, and again, you can get out of the ad break with an Amazon Prime. You can get out of the ad break by buying a sub from Twitch for $5 on desktop or $6 on mobile, or you could possibly, if you're lucky and somebody's feeling generous, you could possibly get out of it by being gifted a sub. Again, that's more likely to happen the more active you are in chat.
And tomorrow.
Also give us a chance to extend the stream a little bit longer.
But again, this is a big deal. And it's coming on the heels of the UAW brokering that tentative agreement with GM for battery maker. And we should also say that today or yesterday, maybe, guess it was yesterday, Trader Joe's United became the first union to request that the National Labor Relations Board issue a Cemex bargaining order against Trader Joe's. We don't know much else about this, but
so Cemex is that recent ruling.
They
from the construction company.
They filed the basis of the charges, right? Unfair labor practices. Some were like captive one-on-one meetings, captive audience meetings, prohibiting union literature on bulletin boards, prohibiting union literature on break room tables, prohibiting union campaigning 24 hours before the election. The basis of the charge, I can't even read it because it was just an image, but this could be the first one where we see Trader Joe's get a bargaining order off this Cemex ruling. And it also applies to any pending applications for elections.
That's incredible.
Authorizations too. So this is good stuff.
So that applies to, even though this ruling is issued at the end of
I don't think we have so Sam, like the person that he mentioned that he's going to talk to, he talked to today. I don't think we have time to go through that entire interview. I also don't think that people would frankly put up with me covering that entire interview. It's kind of dry stuff. I appreciate the Majority Report for doing those deep dives and stuff like that, but it's just not something that I can sustain an audience doing. But the gist of it, if I remember correctly, is that there's been a retirement on the National Labor Relations Board, and it's from the right. They generally will put a certain number of Democrats and a certain number of Republicans on the NLRB. One of the Republicans has retired, and so at this moment, and there might be more retirements coming in too. At this moment, they still have a quorum, and they also kind of have like a more of a leverage on the Democratic side of things. So that's why you're seeing this, right? And that's encouraging too, right? Because in the past you've seen Republicans take advantage of anytime that they can breach decorum, anytime they can do something that's not normally done in order to get a political advantage, i.e. refusing to vote on Obama's nomination for Supreme Court, right? Which never really done, in the recent past. The Republicans had no problem doing it. You generally see the Democrats not have anywhere near the gumption to do anything like that. So this is a little bit of a, finesse going on here. And the Democrats were actually willing to do it this time. So that's encouraging too. Let's see. We've also got the Jessie Singal. Are we gonna have time for the Jessie Singal thing? Okay. It's there. I guess we'll see. Right? If because I mean, like, I hate to be this way, but I gotta have like a sort of one-to-one relationship between the amount of support that I see for my stream and the amount of content that we do. Otherwise, it's just not fair to me. So and really not sustainable in the long run. I mean, like, right, if I can't afford food, if I can't afford housing, then I'm not going to be much good to you as a streamer, right? So I got to kind of be on the guard as far as that. But yeah, we'll try to get to this if we can get at least to 5 subs in the next 30 minutes. How about that? How about that? And until then, let me try my hand at this challenge. This was too much for IBX Toy Cat, but IBX Toy Cat plays on a different, it's Bedrock, right? So the two ways that you can have Minecraft is as Java or Bedrock. Bedrock is generally like on a, that's what consoles use. Interesting. Okay. So and Java is like the traditional Minecraft, but they're not like exactly the same in the way that they work. And this is something that I've noticed here is that it's not generating the same way that Bedrock did. So like I might actually have a chance at being able to complete this challenge that was too great for somebody that's like way better at Minecraft than I am, right? IBX Toy Cat is a Minecraft streamer, and as such, gets a lot of practice at Minecraft, and just kind of better than me at the game, right? But we'll see if we can Minecraft streamer check, that's right. Wait, can we get down from here? No, we can't. I'll show you what I mean in a second. Oh my god, that's the entirety of the... Alright, so this seems kind of safe. Right? If I want to, I can probably get up from this water. What's back there, though? Oh, it's dark. Okay, interesting, right? Interesting terrain. Here, since I'm in a safe place now, let me pause it and show you what I'm talking about. And there it is. Wait, I know I had this open. What are we talking about? Okay, see, failed attempt.
Entire overworld is replaced with a crimson forest biome with all of its ups and downs. And let's be honest, they're mostly downs. Can I beat Minecraft under these conditions? Honestly.
Okay, so do you see how different that is? That is actually the way that the Crimson Forest, which is it's a nether biome, right? But you can do these single biome modes in Minecraft that allow you to. They give you a challenge, right? If you're bored with Minecraft, if you beat Minecraft every which way, you can try this for a challenge, right? But you can see how different this is. Now the particles are the same, and the mobs that spawn, as you're gonna see, are the same between myself and Toycat's. But do you see how the terrain is
get past the Zoglins,
vastly different?
And then also find whatever I'm looking for. I do have food, thankfully. Seems as though... Oh, actually. So, 3 blocks is too many, I think. Or 4 blocks is too many. From here, we should be able to do it just fine. I'll get out my wooden sword, because I need to waste that anyway, right? So let's just wooden sword kill them. I only use the stone sword when absolute...
Those are Zoglins. That's what happens when you bring a Hoglin into the overworld. This is in the overworld. So basically what happens is a Zoglin spawn, or a Hoglin spawns, and then it immediately turns into like a zombie Hoglin or Zoglin here. And these things are bad news.
Absolutely necessary. And
really bad news.
Should restock my rotten flesh, which is a fine intermediate source of... Oh, don't jump.
But not as bad news as the ad break, which is upon us. It's upon us. The ad break is upon us any second now. That means that if you don't use an Amazon Prime, if you don't buy yourself a sub, or if you're not lucky enough to receive a gift sub, that you too will be in a bad way, much like IBX Toy Cat is here trying to fight these Zoglins, which, like, they're bad. They're bad. These are bad mobs.
Don't jump hit me, guys. I don't allow that. Oh,
but
no,
they
no,
have
no,
their
no,
own
no, 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 no,
rules.
no,
They
no,
have
no,
their
no,
own
no,
rules.
no. Go!
They jump at you. That's what they
Christ.
do.
Okay.
That's
so,
what they do. They don't
Zoglins
follow
are
rules.
dangerous. I knew that they could do that too. That's the worst bit about that. I
Okay,
knew
so
they could do it. I was 100% aware.
That's a little taste of what I'm going to deal with now. Like I said, it's going to be different for me. As you can see, I'm not in a Crimson Forest biome. However, the mobs that Toycat is dealing with there are the same mobs that I'm going to have to deal with. So in some ways it's worse, because like the Crimson Forest biome at least affords you wood. The only wood that I've got, and the only wood that I will have, oh my god, this is so little wood, comes from a bonus chest, right? Which I literally had to to cheat a bonus chest into the game in order to even be able to get this. But let's see, right here is where it is, and we're out of that. Okay, yeah, we've got very low amounts of wood here, right? But we do have some advantages over Toycat, right? And the one advantage that I noticed was that unlike him, we have access in this world to the structures of the Nether. What do I mean? I'm talking about the Nether Fortress. I'm talking about the... I'm talking about the bastions. And if those don't sound familiar to you, you might not have played Minecraft in a while, because that's been added for a while. These are like advanced structures, and oh my god, what are we doing here? I'm trying to get into this cave. What I'm really hoping for, and I don't, this is the big, this is like the big unknown here, is will I be able to find a, wow, a ton of canyons, a ton of ravines, right? Will I be able to find what is it called? A mine shaft, yeah. Looking for a mine shaft. That is not a mine shaft. And you're going to see me be extremely judicious about my use of torches, right? Because I just don't have much wood. I got to be judicious about this stuff too. The There's something down there. Like if I could just find a way to jump down there, right? Because I don't even want to use my my pickaxe up. And I also don't have that much time left with you. It looks like this is going to be a really short stream, but again, I got to scale the stream to the level of support. I am getting nothing personal. I love you all, and I love streaming, but you know, it's like there's some real hard, you know, financial realities that I have to consider and be fair to myself as well. So I hope everybody understands that. I'm sure you do. There's lava. You know, here's another thing that I'm noticing, a difference between IBX Toy Cat's experience and mine, right? When IBX Toy Cat went into the caves, he didn't here, just do that, yeah. He didn't get he did get there were like enemies down here, and it looks like for me no enemies are spawning in the caves, which is a plus. But again, I'm not going to waste my torches. Just like I'm not going to waste my time. Whoa, well, I spoke too quickly. I spoke too soon. Yes, no mobs will spawn. Famous last words. That is a zombie piglin. And as far as I know, these dudes will not attack me. Famous last words. These dudes will not attack me. They're just little dudes. Little dudes. They won't attack me. See? No attack. Cool. What happened between Cornell and Bernie? You're gonna have to watch the VOD for that. What's down there? More lava. Oh, and a little baby. Now wait, what are these things called now? They're not called zombie pigmen anymore. They're called something else. I mean, this is still kind of dangerous, right? Yeah, especially when I do silly things like that. So what's gonna be down here? Right, I'm hoping for a structure. Oh my god. And it almost doesn't matter what kind of structure. But yeah, 2 hours for a stream is gonna have to be the standard now when we don't hit the sub goal. And again, it's nothing against anybody, you know, I mean, like if you know, people can support me, I appreciate that. That helps me out. That lets me do more content. That lets me you know, use more of my time for what we're doing here. And if not, I just, you know, it's the same kind of thing. I have to seek financial well-being and indeed sustainability elsewhere. So, you know, it's just it's like a gauge. It's like a thermostat, right? It's automatic. Just like the top of the hour ad break. I'm not seeing any structures. No ancient city, no... Oh no. Oh no. Do I have any? No, I don't. Ugh. That's not good. Okay, we can do it like that. Do it like that. And do it like that. Okay. So yeah, nothing down here. And that's a big deal, right? Because as much as we do have the benefit of structures on the surface that IBX Toycat did not have in his playthrough, we don't have the benefit of the subterranean structures. Okay. Yeah, nothing here. Go in here. Oh no, where am I? I can't see. Oh, this is not good. This is not good. This is not good. I need to breathe. Okay, am I breathing? Am I breathing? No, I'm not breathing. I can't. Where is the fucking not water? Oh my god. Okay, respawn. And guess what? Wait, what time is it? Single biomes. Crimson Forest. Like, I kind of feel like that the way that these single biomes work in Bedrock is probably the way that they're supposed to work, and it kind of bugs me that nobody has fixed this on Java. Now, I could be wrong, but it makes a lot more sense to me that if you've got a single biome and you want to play that as a challenge, that the biome would generate like as that biome, because this is not a Crimson Forest. This is like plains, but if I look at F3, it says Crimson Forest somewhere. So yeah, biome Crimson Forest, right? So it's operating under the rules of a Crimson Forest, but it is not in fact a Crimson Forest. It makes me think that this is an error, right? And you know, you kind of hope with an error that somebody will come along and fix it, right? But the truth of the matter is that Microsoft is not making as much money from okay, this is a very hostile world here, right? They're not making as much money from Java as they do from Bedrock. Bedrock is set up where like everything is like a store, I think, including like your skins. Like, look how I have this nice custom skin here. I think I might have to pay for that if I was on Bedrock, right? So that's no good. But you can see where their incentive structure is, but like, I don't know. For now, they still do have a Java version. This is the one that I'm playing on. And you would think that you know, that they'd want to have it at least work, because like I can't imagine this is what they intended when they put the single biome option into the game, right? This is literally not the biome that I'm supposed to be in. Okay, so you can see those are dangerous, right? But right over there, that's a structure. Be really careful and look at this. Do you see what's happening down there? Those things are attacking each other. Now, why are they attacking each other, right? Because similar mobs don't attack each other. The only thing that I can figure out is that Zoglins are hostile to Hoglins, right? Hoglins are what you get in a Crimson Forest biome in the Nether. Zoglins are what happens when you bring them into the overworld, right? So what's happening is that they're spawning in as Hoglins, right? And Hoglins will mess you up too. In fact, I'm not even sure which will mess you up worse. They're both bad. They're both mobs that I don't want to fight. You know, get out my axe in case I have to. But I'm trying to avoid both of them. But so what happens basically is when they spawn in, they're Hoglins, and then after a certain amount of time, they turn into Zoglins, right? It's almost like a zombie virus. Think of it that way, right? But what's happening is that the Hoglins that spawn in anew, when they run into Zoglins, they're getting eaten up by them, right? And there's going to be more mobs that spawn in too, as far as the piglins and the maybe some zombie pigmen, and there's like weird rules about what attacks what, but so ideally, oh look, that just despawned. Ideally I'd be able to find some carnage. You know, like if I find a place where a battle went on between two of these creatures, I'll find their drops. Oh my god, rhinoceros time. No! Run! See, like, I can't even mess around with those ones. I can't even mess around. I gotta go right into the water and hope they don't follow me too fast. And swim, 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 swim for your life. I somehow have 5 apples. Yeah, I was hoping that I'd find some drops along the way, too. No such luck. That is a structure, though. That's a bastion, right? That is something that you should never see in the overworld. And it doesn't even spawn in the single biome that they have for... I mean, this is very dodgy right here. Okay, this is very dangerous. Very dangerous place that I'm at. What do I hear? Okay, I hear noises. All right. Down there. Yeah, we are coming up to the natural end of the stream here in about 10 minutes, unless we can get 5 subs really quickly to unlock the whole question of what's going on between Jessie Singal and Sam Seder. Don't worry, I'll get it to you one way or the other, right? But, oh wow, okay, so he's not going to attack me. He's fine. He's cool. We're fine. We're friends. Oh, look at that. Should I take that? Or should I just kind of leave it? Because, like, it's nice to have light down here. I don't even know. That is... Oh, golden nuggets. Right? And if I get some carrots, that's food for me. But yeah, now is the time if you're feeling like playing a hero, because we can literally... unlock the doing that stuff on stream, which is probably easier for me too. I do want to put it out as a video, which is probably how you will have to see it if we do indeed get to the end of the stream, with a sort of zero money for the streamer situation. But wait, Gilded Blackstone? I've never seen that. What is that? Okay, Minecraft, you showed me something new today. But yeah, other than that, I will have to do it as like a standalone video, which, is too bad, because I can just as easily cover the Jessie Singal thing on stream. I can't, go over my time, energy, budget thing, if that makes sense. I just have to kind of get serious about my finances here, if that makes sense. And sort of gauging the amount of content that I do to the amount of support I get, so. All right. So we're safe here. We're just very low on wood. It's just like real life, very low on resources, and very unsure about the future. Let's see. Look at that. What's in there? That. Oh God. Well, no, we will definitely cover the debate. So the debate, just to let you know, since we're it looks like we're not gonna get to reacting to the Sam Seder segment. Basically, what was decided was that Jessie Singal and Sam Seder will debate on Tuesday of next week, right? So, the question is, do I change my schedule in order to stream on Tuesday? No, probably not. I'm not in the position financially to be able to do an extra stream. We're kind of, just fighting to keep this one going. So, I'll have to do that on Wednesday. Also, I wouldn't like stream snipe Sam. I know that, I'm a small streamer and I probably wouldn't take any like views away from Sam Seder in the Majority Report, but it's just like kind of a, I don't know, professional code. But yeah, I mean, this whole, sort of gauging the support I get on stream, it's also a good way of for me to know whether how to balance out YouTube videos versus live streams, right? Because that's been a real question for me, and I mean that's a question of strategy, right? I want to grow the stream. I need to grow the stream if I'm going to keep doing this. The stream has to grow, but at any given time, there's a question of whether that growth is going to come more through, or whether sustaining the stream is going to come through doing longer streams, or whether it's going to come through doing more videos. So the amount of support that I get, it sort of shows me if it's just not forthcoming in an entire stream that that I'm getting like any support, then it's a good sign that I need to expand the community, that there's there's insufficient chatters, right? Which The best way to remedy that is to do more videos, because the way that YouTube works for streamers is that you're not really growing by streaming, right? YouTube is different than Twitch in a big way, right? Twitch is centered around streaming, whereas YouTube is centered around videos, right? So the normal function of a stream on YouTube, it's not even called a stream, it's called a live, right? And when you do a live, the idea is that you've done some videos and that you're gonna now do like a little bit of live content for your viewers, right? It's not made to be able to get viewership just from going on and streaming. Although I've been lucky enough to have people find me through that as well. But the big way that you grow on YouTube is through making YouTube videos. Speaking of which, I gotta let you know, there's a video coming out tomorrow, okay? So if you're feeling like you didn't get enough of me tonight, right, or that, I'm playing Minecraft and you'd rather me be doing political stuff, right, don't worry, right, because I actually covered the debate between Sam Seder and Adam and Sitch, and because of what a lot has gone on since then, so I'm able to get done with so many videos at once. But yeah, I'm finally done with the Sam Seder, Adam and Sitch video. I like the way it looks. I like the way that it plays. I think that you'll enjoy it too. If you were there for that stream, you're going to see kind of like a more streamlined, easier to watch version of that. And if you were not there for the stream, then you're kind of lucky, because like a lot of the stuff that might not be pertinent to your interest is cut out. It's just, you'll be able to watch it. It'll take you less time to absorb the content. Basically, all of the extraneous details are sort of cut out of it, and it's also pretty, and the sound is better, yeah, because I'm able to fine tune the way that the sound works through editing videos. So everything about the user experience for that one is improved, which I think people will appreciate. But it's 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time tomorrow, right? That means 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and you can do the math as far as wherever you're at, whatever your time zone is, right? As far as when that will be. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do, since this is safe down here, right? Oh, don't worry. We'll cover the debate. We will cover the debate. It'll just have to wait, right? It's just like I'm saying, the support dictates the amount of time I spend streaming, and then that dictates the amount of time that I'm able to, or the timeliness of when I'm ever able to cover something. So something like doing an extra stream during a week, right? That would be something that I'd be able to do at like a much higher level of support, because like I said, I'm gauging one for the other for the reasons that I mentioned before. Let's see, Blackstone, this stuff, this stuff, this stuff, this stuff, this stuff, and oh, keep oh, I didn't bring my See, the one thing about this challenge is it makes you really conserve your resources, right? It's kind of what I'm trying to do in life, right? I've only got so much time, energy to spend, and I got to make sure that I'm taking care of the hierarchy of needs in the order in which they come. And there is... All right, so I put some of the stuff in the chest, right? Because I don't want to... Like if I end up dying, I'm about to do something really dangerous, and if I die, I want to be able to have some stuff to start back. I don't want to start from zero, so But this is going to be dangerous. We're going to do one last dangerous run before we call it quits for tonight's stream. You know, like, see, this is what I'm talking about. See that? I don't think that does me any good. But that does me good, 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 that does me good. Ancient debris. No, don't kill me, don't kill me. I can't see it. Ah! So some of these dudes, they won't attack me unless I try to dig up some gold. And I just heard a pig man. Okay, so you're a zombie piglin. You're my friend. These guys are friends. They're okay. All right, look at that. That's 9 iron right there. Right? That's huge. You know what I'm gonna do though? I'm gonna be safe. Put the obsidian away. Put the yeah. So we're gonna keep this, right? We're gonna keep this. And so, like, this is a, I mean, this is maybe a doable thing, right? The real question is going to be, does the real question is, does the, what do you call it? It's not called the fortress. Wait, what is it called? The thing where you go to the end. God, I'm already over time. Is it just called the fortress? Okay, there's one that grunted angrily. That's bad. Okay. I need a actual iron pick to be able to mine that. So there's another these are bastions. There's another one over there. That's really useful because if I give the gold to anything except for a piglin brute, they'll stop being aggro on me, and they'll start trading. And I can also make armor if I make golden armor. Now, what's over there? I hear these dudes. I don't see them. That makes me very, very nervous. Down there, nothing. Okay. Nothing good, anyway. Okay, what are you? Growling angrily. Angry sounds. Don't like. You can see them fighting each other over there, right? And some of these dudes are not. Some of these dudes are friendly, right? Like the Zoglins will kill me, but the zombie pigmen. Yeah, they'll all go in there. I can get this stuff. Look at all these drops. So this is, it seems like an impossible challenge, but I'm thinking it's not, right? It all depends on once I get the Eyes of Ender, you know, does it show that there's a fortress? Because that's what you need to do to go to the end. And if you can't go to the end, you can't beat the game. But we're definitely getting some gold. Oh my god. That's wild. They just jumped into that pit, that big pit of death. Did they seriously just off each other? Look at that. Let's be very quiet. Look at all that. They just... Hear a noise down there. I don't want to find out. I don't want to find out if that's a friend or an enemy. I want to find out the hard way, at least. That thing will kill me. Yeah, all those dudes will kill me. Now if you can just find my little, like, hidey hole, then I can put this stuff away and, But where's the hidey hole? I hope it's not over there, because that's dangerous. But, I mean, they are... Yeah, so, yeah, look at that. They attack each other, because they're... The ones that just spawn are hoglins. They killed the... Oh, and then he kills the... He killed the zoglin, and then he turned into a zoglin. So it really is behaving just like a zombie virus of some sort. Oh, nope, nope. Do you see? He sees me. Let's see him aggro. Run! Do I have enough? Like, oh no. I might not have food to be able to run. Still chasing? No. Alright, eat your food. And luckily we've got all this delicious rotten flesh, right? That... So dangerous. I just can't find that little hidey hole, right? Remember how I had the hidey hole? Oh. I've been detected. And luckily, as long as you've got enough, oh, you're still coming. You are still coming. It's somewhere around here, right? No? He's still coming! Still chasing after me. Okay, so here's what we do. Block off this. Block off that. And block off that. Oh my god, it's dark. Okay, so we're now safe. Golden axe. So you can find some cool stuff. Now, look at this. That's enough gold for a golden ingot. You can trade that with the piglins. So the ones that are... Oh my god, how do I describe this? There's so many different species of pig creatures, right? Some of them automatically hate me. Some of them only hate me if I'm not wearing gold or if I dig for gold. And then some of them are just cool. Like the zombie pigmen are cool. So that is a whole lot of rotten flesh. And that is going to have to be the end of the stream tonight. yeah, sorry that we couldn't get to everything, but don't worry, that will come out as a video, either on the main channel or the oh my god, my hair was messed up. No wonder I didn't. Anyway.